black or white, male or female, rich or poor, gay or straight. What's the difference? Number 14 and number 41 are on a mission to improve the unity of the world, one person at a time. Welcome to the 14 and 41 Unity Show.
Hello, I'm Alexis Hornbuckle, number 14.
And I'm Matt Gersper, number 41.
And I'm Derrick Furlow Jr., number 6. And we are different, but we're made from the same stuff.
Oh, I love it. It gives me goosebumps. Welcome, Derrick. It's great to finally see a fellow football player on the show. We've had back-to-back basketballers. So,
hey, grateful to be here, Matt.
So, my friend, tell our viewers and listeners about the exciting things you're doing to contribute to the world these days as the founder and creator of Sports Life Business.
Man, that's just the iceberg. But Sports Life Business is that place where sports, life, and business all come together. And it's whether it's the book, the playbook, the online courses, or the ebooks, it's a guide and a curriculum to show athletes how to take those intangible, transferable skills that you learn from playing sports, whether it was basketball, swimming, track, tennis, rugby, golf, you name it, and show you how you can apply those same things to life and to business once you're no longer playing on the court, in the pool, on the track. So that carryover.
So you and I we're both after the same thing, retired athletes.
I want all athletes. I don't even want to wait till they get retired because they're hard to change when they retire, man. They're stuck in their ways. So we want to help them through the process and to the process. But either way, as long as we can help them, I'm all about it.
All right. So let's go back from 2020 to 2010. And what were you doing back in those days? 2010
was my senior year playing football at the University of Tennessee under Lane Kiffin. So I was getting ready to make my transition into life after sports in 2010.
Very good. And then 10 years earlier, the 2000 version of Derrick Furlow, what was he doing?
Oh, man, I was a hooligan. Well, at least or at least I might have been portrayed as one. I might have looked like it on the outside, but on the inside, I really wasn't. But in 2010, I was trying to figure this life thing out. I was not in high school yet, in middle school, and I had just figured out that sports could be that vehicle to change my life, because growing up where I grew up, you either was selling drugs or you was a rapper, or you played sports, and I seen selling drugs as a way to go to jail, and I didn't like that. And I seen rappers as somebody that had to get lucky, and I didn't feel like I was that lucky. So sports, I feel like I can mix a little preparation and hard work, and maybe with a little bit of luck, and it'll work out in my favor. So that's when I was just figuring out how I was going to change my life and change my family's life. So that's where I was at about 2000.
That's great. I noticed as I read your story, the line, you were profiled as a baller or a scrub, not a gangster or a thug. That's how you felt about it in sports. And when I read that line, I think you and I have a collaboration, because I do a little poetry. So I've not got everything worked out around it, but that line definitely can get us started.
That's awesome right there. Yeah, man, sports, I was grateful that sports was my judge-free zone. Either you could ball or you couldn't, like, period. However, when I stepped off that field, based off my appearance, you look like a thug, or you look like you might want to be a rapper. You look like you was up to no good. You look like whatever society had shaped or molded you, and I got treated that way. However, when it came down to that football field, it ain't matter what you look like. Either you can play or you can't. And if you can play, everything else don't matter. So that was the that escape and that win for me, because once I realized that, I knew all I had to do was keep showing up. However, when I got off the field, I knew I had to bring a little bit more to the table, because I had a lot of different opinions and a lot of different eyes, a lot of people's thoughts, a lot of different opinions that can be thrown upon me, whether they was real or not.
Yeah, but that feeling that when you were on the field, it was judgment free. You know, you either played or you didn't play. That's the whole spirit of retired athletes for Radical Unity. That's what we want to get to. So we'll keep talking about that. Alexis, why don't I turn it over to you?
All right, D-Lo, quick question. Was kind of like a series of questions. First one being, what was your initial response when you first heard about rapping?
I was like, man, that's cool. I felt like I was already doing it, but there was never really a name to it because it was not like that wasn't the only thing or the main thing. So honestly, it was kind of like a easy, I didn't really have to do nothing new. I just said, okay, cool, let me collaborate with y'all, and it got a name and a title behind it now.
Right. Well, we're definitely happy to have you aboard. So what do you think about like our site, the team gear, and what are your hopes by sharing your Unity story to the world and joining our mission?
For one, the logo is dope because it's all encompassing. So I think a lot of times some athletes can feel left out of their sport, might not get the attention, or might feel like they're alone in their journey, in their life after sports, or whatever they may be facing. But at the end of the day, when they see that logo, they can realize that thought process or those feelings they're going through, it's across the board in every sport. So that's a unifier. And as far as everything that it's doing, I think it's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing how my story can help grab that other guy that might have felt like I felt, or use sports as his vehicle to get where he want to go, or use sports as his vehicle to have that comfort zone and be that safe haven to get out of his environment. So I believe all the stories come together for a grand scheme, a bigger picture for us to help more people.
Right, and we know it's about helping the people, and our mission is to improve the unity of the world, one person at a time. So, D-Lo, thank you for that.
Oh, thank y'all for allowing me to be a part of the bigger movement. At the end of the day, it's bigger than us. So I'm excited for what we got going, man. Just excited to share it, and hopefully we can bring more and more athletes on board every single day.
Awesome. Well, I love your Unity story. I just read it again. I love the title you gave it: Impact, Inspire, Empower. Great stuff. So please give our audience the highlights, but just enough so they'll rush to read it immediately following the show. Don't give the whole story away. And if you would, Derrick, just share like the top one or two takeaways, the main messages that you hope to convey to everyone who reads it.
Well, I think it's really one main takeaway. However, you come about it a couple of different ways, and whether it was when I was with a couple of my teammates and we was riding in this Cutlass, and the car was profiled as being a drug dealer's car, and we get pulled over for not having seatbelts on, supposedly, to end up the car getting searched and us getting frisked and a million questions getting asked, and then us getting let go for nothing, to when I get a chance to play the game, it was never, hey, you look like this, you look like that, or where you're from. It was just a matter of, can you play? So at the end of the day, the story is pretty simple. The respect, the getting to know, the understanding, the not judging a book by its cover. When it came down to the game, it was all irrelevant. But when it came down to life outside of the game, I faced those different things. So it just, the more to the story is, sports was my safe haven that allowed me to just lock in and focus and remove all the distractions from all those different variables that goes on in the world that may get portrayed on me, even though I didn't necessarily have nothing to do with it, but just because I looked a certain way or was from a certain area. But when I got on the field, nothing really mattered outside. The true things that really mattered was pretty much, could I play? Which in life, at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter about your inside, who you are as a human being versus how you look or where you're from and the color of your skin. So that's what sports was able to do for me. So I think that's the more to the story. At the end of the day, it removes the judgment and removes those speculations and those thoughts that are not true. It allows the players to get a chance to know the players for who they are, not what they envision or what they assume or what they heard or what they seen. You get a chance to see me play mano a mano, so you can respect the craft.
Yeah. Awesome. So one more question about your story, and what's been your experience since you started thinking about writing it? We asked you to write it, then actually putting pen to paper, and then reflecting back on your journey from being that young Black male living in poverty in Southwest Atlanta to becoming the successful author, entrepreneur, transition specialist that we see before us today. What's your reflections on, since you've actually put the story out there into the world, or we're about to?
The reflection has been, I got more work to do, man. I think today, bigger than ever, you see unrest when it comes down to black athletes or black people outside of sports, and you see it happen in the athletic realm, guys standing up for it. So personally, it's feel like I just need to be sharing that story more, doing more work so I can help more young black athletes and athletes in general realize that, hey, that's your stage, that's your safe haven, and you can use that to stand up for what's right. You can use that to empower yourself. You can use that to empower others. You can use that to impact a lot of people, because with that stage, that's the opportunity that the game is giving you. So honestly, it just made me realize I got a whole lot more work to do, that I ain't really done enough. So I appreciate you guys for bringing that even more higher on my awareness, because I was aware of it. But now I believe the urgency is showing up every single day, especially what's happening in 2020. And you can see it showing up in the athletic profession, those that are still playing. So I think it just makes it more urgent and relevant from those that are not playing and those that are playing, how to use it and capitalize on the athletic stage and in that safe haven to do more, to be more, to have more, to make it a better place for everybody.
Yeah, so that's a great response, that you have more work to do. And the great thing about Retired Athletes for Radical Unity is now we have more work to do. We can do it as a team. And as we work as a team, we erase the divisions and we make more unity. And that's what my big hope is, that your story and my story and Alexis's story, we can keep this movement going and bring in more and more voices and try to make a dent in the world. Be awesome. Be really awesome.
Agreed.
Okay, so let's take a quick commercial break so we can spread some love for our awesome sponsors, Casandrino's Oil and Happy Living. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Casandrino's Oil. Made from olives soaked in the Grecian sun for months and picked by hand with care. You'll love it too. Grab a bottle today and get 50% off your first subscription order. Shop the World Wide Web at Casandrinos.com. That's KASANDRINOS.com. Use coupon code HAPPYLIVING50 and I'll donate 15% off every order placed during the month of September to WYTV7.
So, Derrick, how have the lessons you learned as an athlete, and particularly the unity lessons, helped you to become a better and more successful person, a more successful person today?
Oh man, that's easy. For one, I don't judge a book by its cover. I let people, I get a chance to get to know them. Because from the game, I learned people come from different backgrounds, been through different things, experienced different things. So some people are going to show up differently. Some people are going to be clutch. Some people are going to be game time. Some people not. Some people are going to be a little bit more fearful. Like at the end of the day, people are going to be different. So now in a business environment or any setting I'm in, I realize some people may be more comfortable in certain situations. Some may not be. But at the end of the day, they're still human, and they still add value, and they still have a relevancy. So you just got to not judge a book by a cover, and don't pigeonhole somebody just because they might not be comfortable in certain situations or the same situations as you. And they have their moments and their opportunities for them to shine as well. You just got to put them in the right stage or the right vehicle, whether it's a business partner or people or an employer or whatever that, or a teammate. So you get them in the right seat on the bus and they're going to thrive. So the game taught me that. So now it's just, it's simple. You carry it over in everything I do.
Good stuff. So tell us, Derrick, think back in your entire athletic career and just tell us a cherished story about some of your teammates from one of your favorite teams that you played on.
Matt, see, now you asking me a hard question right there. I got that DB mentality, short memory. I got to forget the last play. So man, right there, you making me have to dig. So one thing I will say, I guess I can make it as back as my senior year, learning a new playbook when Coach Kiffin came in, and us trying to figure out that new playbook. It was pretty complex, so we found ourselves making raps to remember the playbook. Mm-hmm. So I will say, as a DB unit, it was about 13 of us. We were probably not good at rapping, but at least it sounded good to us because it helped us remember the plays, and we made it through that season well-rounded and probably tired of rapping after that season. So that's about the quickest, fastest one I can get to, because that short memory, I carried it over with me, because a lot of bad things may happen, and I don't let it live on. A lot of bad emotions may come up, and I don't let them live too long. So you got me with that one, Matt.
That's a good story. It's when, I think the things I remember back on are either the silly things or the irrelevant things, or the moments when you were really, in it together, and it was really a tough slog. And I can just tell you, share one of my stories. It's ridiculous. We had this guy, his last name was Travnik, and he was a kind of a gross sort of defensive lineman. And we would sit waiting for practices to start in this college, hallway, waiting to go into a classroom type of environment. And he's laying on his back, completely flat, and just spitting up in the air and then catching it. And spitting up in the air and catching it. It's just disgusting. And it's one of, the memories that I have of a bunch of rowdy football players trying to have fun together and relax together. So
awesome.
Think of one more. Give us one more, DB.
One more. Well, I will say, going back to my freshman year, it's when Facebook came out. And of course, when you're there in the summertime, besides working out, you have nothing else to do. So I got my first Facebook account created, my only one, and it was one of my teammates that did it, because we was all sitting in the dorm room and they was creating accounts because that was the fastest way to talk to girls. So I will say this, that was kind of like the modern day dating app for college. And it was so funny because I really didn't want one of those things, because it was my teammates making it up. And of course, I thought they did a lot of crazy stuff. But to come to find out, just because they made that account today, I'm able to connect and stay connected with people. But also, I've been able to do business on it as well. So those knucklehead teammates actually did do something that was pretty beneficial, all because they wanted to talk to girls. So I give them that. That was cool.
Very good. Okay, so now it's prediction time. Which of those knucklehead teammates that you just described will be the first to follow your lead and share their unity story with us?
Bro, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't know. That's just it's gonna depend on the day of the week. All of them will say they will, but which one will actually do it first? That is a great question, Matt. I can ask 10 and all of them like, yeah, cool, I'm down. Which one will execute on it first? I don't know.
All right.
We'll work on that though.
We'll have to wait and see. All right, Alexis.
All right. Okay, D-Lo. All right, this is my favorite part of the show. I'm about to ask you a few fun questions, rapid fire. You got about 3 to 5 seconds to answer it. So basically, the first thing that pops in your head got to come out your mouth. And I know you have no problem doing that. All right, first question. What other sports did you play besides football?
Basketball. I wish I would have played tennis though.
What'd you say?
I wish I would have played tennis though.
Yeah, that probably been a good sport, no lie. What's your favorite thing to do outside of being an author?
Speak to people, impact, inspire, and empower people, and people watch.
And people. Love that. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, dig deep.
Man, if I could live anywhere, can I have a home everywhere?
I ain't mad at it. I love that answer. If you can go back and tell your 16-year-old self some piece of advice, what would it be?
Go hard at everything. Attack life, man. Like, don't be relentless. Like, just be relentless. It took a minute for that to register to me. So if I would have knew it earlier, I would have did it a whole lot faster.
Absolutely. Wouldn't we all? Let's see. What's your favorite color?
Orange.
Let's go Vols, y'all. Let's go. What is your biggest project to date
Sports
that you can speak about?
Sports Life Business University, and xhunger.com.
Okay. What's xhunger.com?
Our national rollout to help end hunger in America via
Okay.
high school and college students.
Nice. If you didn't go to the University of Tennessee, where would you go? Where would you have went?
Georgia.
Last question I'm going to throw out at you. Let me see. I got to make it a good one, man. What led you to become an author?
I felt like I had some insight and some knowledge, and God wouldn't let me do nothing else until it came out of my head because it was driving me crazy. So he said, you're going to sit down and get it out your head, get it out your spirit. And then once it was out my head and out my spirit, I was able to do other stuff. But until then, it was a good distraction or a good calling or a good purpose that would not let me focus on anything else until I got it out. Other than that, I wasn't very good at English. My Spanish grade in high school was higher than my English grade.
Wow.
And college.
That's a fun fact for Derrick Furlow Jr. right there for you guys. All right, Derrick, before we kind of start to close out the show, is there anything that you would like to promote, any part of your business's nonprofit, anything that you have your hand involved in, any comments that you want to leave for our listeners before we head out?
I would just say, hey, if you're listening to this, get your letter in, write your story, share your story. Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than you. And that story going to impact, inspire, and empower somebody else that may need it, that may need to hear it, that may be going through something, or they may be growing through something. So make sure you share, because at the end of the day, it's really not about you. You didn't go through that just for yourself. You went through that to help somebody else. So share your story, write it in. And if you ever need any encouragement, follow me at Derrick Furlow Jr. That's DerrickFurlow Jr. on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn at that same name. And in the meantime, I just advise everybody to go out there and attack life, because we either in transition, just came out of a transition, or a transition is on its way.
Absolutely. That's good stuff, D-Lo. Well, we appreciate you hopping on and sharing your story. Matt, you want to take us out?
Yeah, before, Derrick, you said something about to your 16-year-old self, and it reminded me of a quote that I love. It says, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Indeed.
And that's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Get after it.
That's it. That's
All
it.
right. All right. I love it. Also, tell our audience about your book.
So the book, What's Next? How to Transition Like a Champion. You can get it on DerrickFurlow.com or even Amazon. And it's designed to help you take those intangible, transferable skills that you learn from the game and show you how you can apply them in life and in business, relevant, applicable knowledge and actionable steps. So now you got that blueprint. You see Alexis holding it up right there. You got a blueprint for how you can actually use those things that you learn on the field, on the court, in the pool, on the track, and actually go apply it in life and in business. Because I believe a lot of times we learn these things as athletes, but we don't know how they correlate once we're no longer playing the game and we find ourselves lost in transition. So we desire to help athletes transition like a champion.
Very good. Any parting remarks to the audience?
Hey, y'all wake up every single day and give life everything you got. And right when you think you want to give up, keep giving it everything you got. And just keep on pushing every single day, because we get one shot at this thing. You might as well give it everything you got.
Yeah, that's great. That's one reason I like to talk about 10 years and 10 years. It takes a whole lifetime to create your life. And I think when we start after something new, we want everything now. And you can't get it now, but you do get it if you keep going after it, just exactly like you said. Just keep on doing it. So good stuff. Thank you, Derrick. So to our listeners, over the next 2 weeks, Derrick is going to be responding to comments, questions, and remarks from listeners to this show, and also from readers of his Unity story. And at the end of those 2 weeks, he'll pick a person that he feels was the most impacted, and then he or she will get to win a free Raft Fruit t-shirt or hoodie. Okay? So get engaged. And now we have to wrap this thing up. So if you're inspired by today's show, please donate what you can to WYTV7 so we can keep bringing you amazing retired athletes like Derrick. All of us working together to improve the unity of the world. Or you can just buy tons of olive oil and I'll do the donating for you. Thank you, number 6. And number 14, you too. It was another great show.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks y'all for having me.
Derrick, I'm inspired by the transition you've made from being a big success on the field to being a big success in business by helping others looking to transition into their next chapters. That, my friend, is a really great niche.
I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you so much.
Thank you to WYTV7 for hosting and promoting our show. We love you. A special thank you to our sponsors for the entire month of September, Casandrino's Oil and Happy Living. Remember, the more you buy, the more I'll donate. So buy more oil. Tell your friends to buy some too. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. Go to rafru.com to read Derrick's inspiring unity story. You'll also find links to websites and social media and all things Derrick Furlow Jr. Find him, friend him, buy his book, engage with him, and get that free t-shirt while you're at it. From Alexis and Derrick and me, we love you, and we want you to be united, not divided. We do what we do at the Retired Athletes for Radical Unity to inspire you to join our team and our mission to improve the unity of the world one heart at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the 14 and 41 Unity Show. And we're out.
Black or white, male or female, rich or poor, gay or straight, what's the difference? Number 14 and number 41 are on a mission to improve the unity of the world, one person at a time. Welcome to the 14 and 41 Unity Show.